I've fucking failed. I failed a long time ago, but fuck it, here I'm still am, so I'm still going to be complaining about it. I've come to the conclusion lately that pretty much anything after 30 is coping, this is how it is. Meaning to stop drinking beer. I pretty much have, but every now and then I have a couple of cans. Try to have something better, vodka or maybe wine or something. Anyway, yeah, I find it funny how some of these YouTubers cope on about saying life after 30, you know, blah blah blah. Or it's just the beginning. It's your years of your I shouldn't even laugh. It's so fucking sad. But like saying that for a man they were the best years, it's like no, like your best years financially if you've made something of yourself, and a lot of people haven't. But yeah, no, like when it comes to everything else, you know, I'd rather be a broke teenager any day than to be some guy who had his own business in his 30s and had like multiple $1 million. It's like money doesn't compensate for loneliness. I can tell you that much. And you know, it wouldn't matter. I don't think it would matter if I was rich, you know, because I'd still be fucking lonely, you know, because we need that human connection, really. Everything else we see around us, like, you know, that costs money, like vehicles, holidays, any man-made bullshit, it's not natural. This fucking expensive phone isn't fucking natural. These fucking buildings around me aren't natural. It's like the things that you can buy, you know, like expensive clothing and glorified labels and shit. Whole costs a lot of money, and it's all things that humans have invented. It's not how we naturally, you know, like you know, it's like when a girl's attracted to a guy who's got a Ferrari and wants, you know, like money and all that shit isn't natural, you know. You know, when you say, oh, you know, that sort of thing helps you, it's like, yeah, it can help materialistic people, but you know, at the end of the day, when it comes down to it, all of this shit is a fabrication around us that humans have created. That's why we don't really need it to be happy. We just need to have a life where it's not hard, where we're not doing something horrible, and where we can get a family and a partner. And that's why everything in life for a guy revolves around, you know, getting girls to a degree. It's like, you know, you work hard at some job so you can look like a better, more interesting sort of person. You can provide a lot more entertainment and things like that. And come off as more cool, you know, having the expensive vehicle, you stand out from the crowd, everything like that. But all of it, you know, it's to do with finding somebody, really. So, yeah, when it comes down to it, that's really all we need. But anyway, I've strayed away from the fucking subject that I was even meant to be talking about. But yeah, like for the whole like 30s thing, you know, like money doesn't really matter if you don't have any if you don't have the youth, you know. That's why I said I'd always rather be like young and broke than be established and be older, you know. Not saying that I'm older and have money or any shit like that, but I'm just saying, like, you know, when people say about, oh, you know, you spend all this time, so, you know, fucking getting money so when you're older you can win and fucking everything at life, you know, like, but yeah, obviously, you know, you gotta set yourself up for life, you know. If you think being poor is shit when you're young, being poor when you're like really old is fucking horrible, you know. And you see these old guys on the street who are like 40s, 50s, whatever, like homeless people, you know. It's one of the saddest fucking things there is, really, you know, because there's no way they're gonna be getting out of that shit, really, unless they win lotto, because, you know, they've had their whole life to work at establishing themselves and getting like their life set up, and that takes a long time, you know. For a lot of people that takes, you know, it's not something that happens over weeks, months, or even a few years. It's something that generally happens over a fucking lifetime, you know. So those people, you know, it's going to be a lot harder for them, you know. That's really bleak. So yeah, establishing yourself and getting yourself set up is really something important. But I'm saying, you know, when it comes to relationships, I think, you know, being young is the most valuable thing that towards that, you know. Because it wouldn't matter if some guy's got like $100 million and he's like 40 years old. You know, you could have like 100 million in the bank, but as soon as he tries to talk to a young girl, he's all of a sudden a creep. You know, that 16-year-old broke baby-faced boy, you know, who's in her fucking age bracket is going to be the one that these girls are interested in, you know. It's going to be that young guy, you know. But if you're that old guy, it doesn't matter how much money you've got, you're just the creep if you try and, like, do anything, you know. Even at my age, like, fucking, like, 30 now, like, I'm still too old for this shit, you know. It's like the window's fucking closed. Aside from this fucking shit-ass autoimmune disease that I've got that's basically eating the fat in my body, you can see around my mouth it's no longer full. You can see around here, like, it's looking absolutely nightmarish. Like, it's gonna be fucking a lot worse. But my skin is like, it's no longer smooth around here. It's kind of bubbly, almost like, I don't know if you can tell, but it's like all the fat, it's gone. So it's like just muscle behind the skin almost. You can see expression lines a lot more. So yeah, unfortunately I don't have the volume of fat in my face that I should have. It's nothing to do with age, it's happened all over my body, you know. It really sucks. But regardless of having that problem and the fact that it's going to get worse, it terrifies me. But I mean, still, I look a lot better now than I did when I was, say, 25 or 24. Unfortunately, I never got to spend my younger years, you know, looking decent enough. So it was kind of like, that was a time when I could have found a relationship, but now I'm like too old. But you know, even if I didn't have this damn disease and my skin was a lot better and it wasn't all just fucking loose and soft and everything, I mean, I still like look a lot better now than I did back then, because I mean, it probably didn't help the fact that I was like binging on fish and chips and chocolate and bags of potato chips and just anything really. Like, I mean, I never got into like soft drinks and huge amount of sugar and stuff, but I had quite a bloated face and I didn't really look after my skin, had a lot of dairy. I mean, that probably made my skin more oily than it should be, more redder. And my face was a lot more rounded. So it's a little bit more square at the moment, like more sort of blocky. So it's more ideal now, you know. I do look a lot better now than I used to when I was younger, but you know, it's kind of like, say, you know, you see those dudes who are like, they look like male models, but they're like 40-something-year-old and their hair's all grey and shit. It's like, yeah, that's obviously was a really attractive-looking man, you know, like, and still, like, for his age, he is completely, compared to a lot of guys by the time they're that age, they've got like a gut on them. It's disgusting. They just don't even look after themselves at all. Half their hair's gone. Some of these guys who like look good at the end, like at that age, who've got the square sort of face and shape and everything, it's like, you know, you've got that, but it's like it counts for nothing. It's kind of like, you know, at that age, what's the point? Because you're old, you look old, even if you look good for your age. So I feel like even though I look better now for being like my age, like, I don't know, I probably kind of look like shit, but I look better than I used to anyway. But it doesn't matter now, you know, because at least, you know, people can say like, oh, well, you're still not good enough, or you were never good enough, blah, blah, blah. But the thing is that bottom line was, at least when I was a teenager to early 20s, I had some like female attention. When I was a teenager, at least, I remember when the girl who I lost it to, her friend messaged her saying that she thought like I was cute and shit, and I had a few other people like that. I didn't get like the I guess you would say the bimbo types after me, or you know, the stupid girls who go out to bars and paint their faces up like a clown. You know, I didn't get those mainstream attractive type ones liking me, but I got like a little bit of attention here and there from the odd average people in the more average sort of bracket. Even though I'm New Zealand and pretty much almost every girl's like unattractive compared to other countries anyway. I mean, like, even the more attractive ones, I mean, like, to see a really attractive person here, like girl, is really quite uncommon. I mean, I saw one the other night and it was just like, holy shit, you know, because you're so used to seeing so many bland people. It's kind of like, say, living in a small town and then someone pulls up in a fucking gold Ferrari. It's like, you're going to notice it compared to like a big city where you see one like maybe every few hours or every couple of days or something. I don't know. But yeah, New Zealand's pretty bad like that. I mean, you just need to look at like videos from overseas and people look so much better. Well, I mean, like the female population anyway. Like my country got rated as like one of the ugliest in the world. So yeah, it's not just my personal opinion. But anyway, yeah, when I was younger, at least I had some people like me and things like that. Up until probably I'd say about like 24 was the last time, I think. Maybe between 22 and 24. Like I had someone like me at 24, and I did at 25 sort of, but it never really happened to anything. But I was a lot pudgier back then. But that just shows, you know, youth is the most valuable thing, you know. Like even as a teenager, like, I mean, I'm skinny now. I don't know if you can really see. I've lost a lot of weight, but surprisingly I don't really look that skinny. I mean, I am pretty I'm like good maybe 10 kgs lighter than I should be, and I'm missing all the fat cushioning, the fat padding in my body, which it doesn't really change much of your appearance, but you fucking feel it when your like bones hit something, and it's fucking nasty. But yeah, I don't look as skinny, but back then I was like skinny as fuck. I had like double chin, almost recessed chin, because I kept my teeth on my jaw, like my bottom row of teeth, like behind the top one, so my jaw was like looking recessed and shit from the side. You know, I didn't know like about jaw posture or anything. Like your teeth are meant to sit aligned and your tongue's meant to be on the roof of your mouth and all that. You know, like I was just terrible like that. I was never a mouth breather. Not really, unless I was like running, you know, and I had to breathe a lot. But yeah, so I looked a lot worse. But at least back then I had some sort of, I wouldn't say success, but I'd say chances at least. I had some people like me. And I mean, I think that seeing as I was in a small fucking city, I know it's like a lot harder if you're in a bigger city. Some people might think it's a lot easier because, you know, more people, more chances. It doesn't really work out that way, because it's kind of like, say, more competition really, because it's like you may have a lot more people to go through, but at the same time it's like the whole swiping thing with dating apps. It's kind of like, say, you can swipe on hundreds of people, but it's like, unless you're one of the very top people, you know, unless you really stand out, you're going to be one of like 1,000 guys. So up here it's like there's a hell of a lot more people, but each girl's probably going to have like, I don't know, like 1,000 options. So you'd probably be better off being in a small town where you're just like one of about, I don't know, a few guys or something. I don't know. But I'm going off subject, I think, again. I can't remember. My mind's just fucked at the moment. But like, yeah, like I at least had chances when I was younger. I think that the thing is that maybe being in a bigger city wouldn't have helped me, because it might have been even harder, because I suppose in that way you've got to compete with all the other guys. But if I'd done some travelling around, or if I was born in another city, the people that I almost got with, I might have had some different luck, where instead of almost getting with somebody, the circumstances might have been a little bit different and I would have got with somebody. So I just feel like I was probably wasting my youth by being in the wrong fucking place, you know. If I'd been in a different city, it might have actually happened for me, you know. And that's the thing, is that like youth is your most important thing when it comes to relationships. Yeah, I mean, because there are some people that can, you know, they get options just because they're younger. You know, it's like a lot of these guys who, once they hit 40 something or 40 whatever, who had luck when they're younger, they won't have that anymore because they're an old person. It's the same with going from, say, teenage, early 20s to late 20s. It's not that you necessarily look worse. In fact, you can actually look better, but because you're older, no one gives you attention anymore. You know, it's not like I really got much back then, but at least if I met enough people, I would feel like I'd have some kind of, interest here and there, So that's the thing. But it's like, now you're older, it's like nobody's interested in talking to you, like, at least when you're younger. I mean, the problem is that walking around the city or being in a classroom or anything, you're far more prone to be that guy people decide to pick fights with. If you're a school kid, you're walking home from school, whether it's high school, intermediate, whatever, and you pass through groups of other people, there's always some piece of shit who wants to start a fight with you. Every now and then, you're more prone to that, but they're not going to pick a fight with an adult, generally. You might get a few youths. I haven't really had that happen. But, as you get older, people tend to try and start fights with you less. You don't really have that shit, unlike, when you're younger. Which is cool in a way, but like at the same time, when you're younger and you're dumped in a classroom full of people or in a group of people, you might make friends or something. You might have people reach out to you, like you're young, you've got potential, you're worth something. When you're older, nobody wants to fucking be friends with you, or talk to you or whatever. First time I came up to this city, I came up for it was like a few bands. It was what was it? Rob Zombie, Megadeth, Five Finger, and there's a couple other bands. Anyway, it was a pretty good show. But I remember afterwards, I was walking uptown. This was like 1 in the morning or some shit, and I had a group of people like walk past me or whatever, and they were like all from different countries or some crap. Like they were like traveling together or something like that. But it was like 4 people or something, and two of them, one was from Britain, one was from France or something, one was from somewhere else. And these guys just started talking to me and just asked me if I want to hang out and shit, and I was like, oh, it's fucking late, I need to go to bed and shit. But, like that sort of thing. And it's like, and when I was on my old course, like I met this guy that I hung out with quite a few times. He become like my friend, and he was quite a drunk, and I wasn't really much of a drinker back then, but, but it's like, as you get older, like, no one gives a shit. You don't have that crap happen. And it's the same with relationships. Because you're all of a sudden the older person, and then nobody really gives a fuck. So yeah, all these dumbasses saying, oh, there's like this YouTuber that I really hate called I call him Last Man. But yeah, his whole fucking thing is talking about like how when you get to 30s, 40s, 50s, you can go with these younger people. It's like, yeah, the only time that shit's happening is if you're a fucking celebrity or some like person in music who has like fame or status or something. For your average guy who's developed his own business and who's doing well and whatever, you're just a face in the crowd. You're just another old dude at the stoplights. If that was true, that fucking working on yourself, getting money in your own business and crap actually helped you, then it would be a bunch of 30, 40-year-olds at the fucking bars getting the young girls, because they've achieved this. And, they're not there. They're never there, so it's always just young people. So, that sort of shit is just a fucking lie. Believe me, if these guys who are 30s, 40s, 50s were actually capable of still getting like younger girls, they would be there. They're not fucking not going because they've grown up and they're no longer interested in trying to get a partner who's like attractive. They're there because they know that they don't have a chance. And that's the thing, like once you get like 30s, it's fucking over. It's fucking over, man. It's sad because I feel like if I didn't have a disease like this, if I was healthy, I'd be optimistic about my future now because I'm actually working to doing things towards it. I mean, it's small steps really at this stage, trying to get into the position to make a decent amount of money. But at the same time, it's like I have goals and things that I really want to look forward to, or that I am looking forward to. that I'm trying to organize and things, you know. This channel itself wasn't meant to be just about me complaining about my life. I was wanting to do a whole lot of other things, really. I mean, at first off, I started trying to do game videos, but I'm absolutely useless on reviewing things. You know, I wish I could be good at reviews, but I can't. And then I started doing, I wanted to do how-to videos on a bunch of different things like that. But I didn't really have a setup area to do that sort of shit. So yeah, that was that out of the picture. So now I want to more focus on just traveling when I can, if I ever got to do traveling and stuff, and doing urban exploration, reviewing things that I actually know enough about to be able to make an okay video at, and then having a secondary channel of art, just doing artwork and yeah, things like that, just whatever, you know. So this wasn't originally meant to be what I was going to do channels about, or videos about, but you know, that's the thing. I just made these videos to vent, really, talk about how I felt. But yeah, I don't know. Anyway, fucking 21 minutes this video's been now. I just thought I'd make this to try and say, you know, that life at 30 something, you know, over 30, you're just, you know, unless you've got had a partner when you're 20 something and you're still with them, you know, because you've got kids in a house, it's just, fuck, this thing's really gonna make me drop my phone. You know, it's basically over. What I was trying to say before was, if I didn't have the stupid health problem, then I would have to sit here and think, my fucking loneliness is not going to go away. My stupid sex drive is not going to fucking go away. Even though, you know, drugs don't do it. You know, I originally thought drugged myself out of it. You know, you can kill it with drugs, or I was thinking about fucking shit like chemical castration and mind-altering drugs and things, but none of that actually takes your mind off it. I mean, it'll stop your ability to do anything. You know, that's why they give it to prisoners and things, offenders, but it doesn't take away your desires and things. And that's what I want to do, is rip that part of my brain out that's you know, switch it off, the part of me that wants a partner and wants a physical relationship and things, because it's depressing to think that, you know, if I didn't have health problems and I'd be here for say another 30 years, that I would continue to have those feelings increasing over the years because I can't ever satisfy them. You know, it's not being able to do it is one thing, have that kind of relationship or that kind of intimacy with anybody, but at the same time it's also, it's soul crushing to think that it's not just that you miss out on it, it's the fact that you've spent all of these years, you've wasted, let go of all these years trying and going without, you know, that you could have been with somebody, that you could have gone out to fucking dinners with and shit, you know, and had a good night, or you're oh, I want to go and see this fucking movie. I saw a couple of movies lately. I saw the fucking Top Gun, and I saw The Northman, and something else. I can't remember what it was, but you know, it's you want to go and fucking do these things with people, you know, I'm going to the zoo soon, and fucking museum, and a bunch of other things, you know, it's and I'm hopefully going over to the islands in a couple of months. I'm hoping, maybe a bit longer, but by the end of the year anyway. But some of these weird fucking, you know, going to these weird places, or going to restaurants and shit, you know, all of that is so much better with somebody else, because, you know, experiencing something cool, nice, it's nice, you know, to see something, whatever, but to experience that with somebody else would be just so much better. I mean, some of my bucket list goals are things you know, they're mostly travel orientated, I would say, for the most part, aside from owning my dream motorbike and car. I would say, you know, things I want to see the northern lights, the aurora borealis and shit like that, you know, fuck doing that by yourself. Can you imagine sitting under that, looking up at that, and then thinking that It'd be so much better if I had a partner. You know? It's fucking crap. It's such a waste as well, you know, because if I know that if I was born a girl, I'd be married with kids. It's as simple as that. Like, at my level, I would have a family, no problem. Because if a fucking 3 out of 10 overweight girl who looks like a freaking pile of chocolate that's been left in the sun can have a family with a decent looking guy who's working, then, you know, I know that, you know, if I was like a 5 out of 10 girl, which is probably around my level, I'd say 5, maybe 5.5, or something like that, you know, I'd be happy. I wouldn't be sitting on the internet fucking talking about how I want to bash people's faces in because they have what I don't have, or I wouldn't be sitting here by myself drinking. I'd be sitting at home cooking up a fucking meal for my family. You know, like, this is bullshit. You know, and the worst part is nobody wants to fucking acknowledge it, you know. You complain, you get told, oh, it's just because you're a bad person. Bullshit. No one's too bad to find a relationship. Nothing to do with morals, everything to do with looks, you know, if you're a guy. But that's the thing, you know, I keep saying if I was born female, I would have a family and I would have a partner. Because you can literally put up a photo of a toaster online as a female profile and you'll still get guys saying, oh, I'm interested, I don't care what you look like. Because I'm not a 10, I can't even get fucking jack shit. You know, like, since I moved up to this fucking city, so you can see, like, my fucking face is just decaying. It's fucking horrible. But since I moved up to this city about a year and a half ago, besides this girl who I met who was just like abusive as hell and on drugs, like, literally, I haven't been approached by like anybody. Like, I haven't been approached even by like some fat 2 out of 10 land whale, you know, like, you know, not even by somebody who looks like whipped custard. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, I really didn't want to go overseas to like, well, before this disease happened to me, before my body started decaying. Basically, I wanted to go overseas after having like a bunch of fillers and things done to look better, and go to a country that doesn't have internet. So I wouldn't have to compete with all the douchebags on Instagram. I wouldn't have to compete with a fucking whole huge amount of guys on fucking Tinder. Pardon. I would be able to actually find somebody, you know, because there'd be no internet and I could likely be the best person in someone's social circle, you know, like if I met the right person. But yeah, I mean, it's just, I've wasted my life here and now I'm fucking too old for it. Now I feel like if I was healthy, I'd have to sit here and think, well, I've got 30 more years of living in envy, bitterness, anger, frustration, and many other different negative emotions, thinking, why the fuck me? Why the hell wasn't I just that much better? You know? So yeah, life after fucking 30 is just, it's fucking shit. It's just waiting to die in loneliness. You know, it's funny. 15 years ago, I might have been laughed at. I might have been told to piss off, fuck off, or whatever other thing, or I might have been laughed at. But if I went up to a girl, I wouldn't have been thought of as creepy, right? I mean, some of them might have thought I was a creep because of how I look, I don't know. But it's at least socially appropriate. It's socially okay, you know, it's an okay thing to do at that age when you're like 16, 15, 14, no, not 14, it's a bit too young, but like if you're 17, 18, 19, 20, whatever, and you go up to somebody with the intention of trying to get to know them or getting a number or whatever, it's okay, it's socially acceptable. But now, at my age, all of a sudden, I might as well be wearing fingerless gloves, a fucking torn up hoodie, a big scruffy beard, and be your regular homeless guy. I'm actually wearing fingerless fucking gloves. But my point is, I might as well be a dirty old homeless man because, you know, it doesn't matter. You know, it's like 15 years later, because you're past a certain age, it's no longer deemed acceptable to do. And yeah, so you're just like, you just have to be like, okay, well, I'm just going to do what every other fucking 40-year-old unmarried dude fucking goes and does, and just goes to work, hates it, feels miserable, thinks about suicide, goes home, goes to bed, wakes up, goes to a job they don't like, fills in the day, comes home, does this for another few days, and then goes out on the weekend to some pub full of miserable other old men, drinks himself into a stupor, hopefully forget about his week, and rinse and repeat, over and over. Sit on the couch getting fatter and fatter, eating oily food in front of a TV. It's pretty much it. That's all you can do at that age, eh? Like, once you're 30, unless you're famous or a musician or something, or you're already married, you ain't getting shit. That's basically it. It's over. It's fucking sad, eh? It's like, a lot of people live to 60 plus, and only about 20 years of your life is basically time when you can really meet partners. But your whole life, you want it. So it's like, you want this thing throughout your whole life, but there's only like a couple of decades when it's sort of okay, like your teens and your 20s, and then everything after that, you're just a creep if you still want it, and you're old, nobody wants you, so, it's fucking crap, man. I keep thinking over and over, like, that I just wish I could go back to being 17. But with my mind as it is now, because I was an idiot back then, like, if I was to go back to being 17 now, I would just study and do what I want and get as many licenses as I could, so I could get the fuck out of here. I could drive like a lot of different types of vehicles legally, and just keep my mind as it is now, so I could learn. I would know what I'd want to do, rather than walking around town and wasting time, like I did. So yeah, but I don't miss the whole thing that a lot of people try and start fights with me at that age when you walk around town, because young people are shit like that. But I just wish I could go back to that, and restart my life. If I'd made the right moves, if I'd made my self look better at that age, I would have been able to find somebody, I believe, to a degree. But yeah, I just wish I could restart. It's like, now all I have to do is sit around waiting for the end. Yeah, I could do a few things. This health shit's fucking in the way, but at the same time, it's like, what do you do? How do you accept that you're going to spend the rest of your life by yourself? And that it's no longer even acceptable to try and find somebody, because you're past the age of it, So fucked up, eh? It's just so fucked here that you've got to spend like 30 plus more years as some degenerate old fucking man. So fucked up, man. I just wish that our feelings for this, like for relationships, would just go away at 30. It's like, it's kind of like, once your expiry date's fucking happened, you should just like, you shouldn't have to think about it anymore, Fucking crap. Anyway, hope everybody on here is doing as well as they can. Hang in there. Anyway, don't waste your time fucking pissing around in front of fucking screens and doing shit like that, There's a world out there, even though it's not as welcoming as you would wish that it would be. You're really missing out if you're just sitting around in front of a screen. So yeah, get out there and do something new. Anyway, see you later.